It is time for my bridesmaid makeup trial run. Hey there you guys, welcome to today's video. I'm going to be taking you through my entire bridesmaid glow up process. I'm taking you guys through each step of my beauty prep for Michelle's wedding, which is coming up in about a week here. So it's definitely crunch time. Got a lot to do. Gotta get myself ready and looking nice so that I look nice in the photos. I'm so excited. This is going to be such an exciting week, and next weekend is just going to be like the most amazing weekend. So all this work I'm about to do to make myself look my best possible self is going to be worth it. If you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Sarah. I create content on fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. You definitely don't want to miss the upcoming wedding content. I'm also vlogging the entire wedding weekend, packing for the wedding, all of that. So if you love wedding content, definitely make sure that you are following along. Also subscribe to my friend Michelle's channel, who is getting married. Even though I'm filming stuff for it, I'm sure she'll definitely have more. But we are on day one of this bridesmaid beauty prep glow up situation. I am getting my hair done. This is where we're currently at. My roots are way grown out. The blonde's just looking a little bit dull. It's not like too bad. I've been really good about toning it at home, but the blonde could definitely look fresher, especially through the bottoms. The bottoms, because I have hard water, the bottoms just get like really dull and a little bit muddy after a few weeks. So we're definitely gonna bleach through that. And then typically when I go in for a touch-up, we just do like half my head or just like the front, kind of depending on how much I want to touch up. But this time I asked her if we could go in all the way. I don't know how well you guys can see it in the car lighting, but my hair is like black underneath, like in these back layers. It's just looking a little late 2000s, early 2010s, like emo split hair vibes, you know what I mean? So I told her I definitely want to go in and, you know, highlight underneath this time so that the whole head matches, especially because Michelle does want us to be doing like a low updo, a low do, if you will. So we're supposed to be doing some kind of variation on like a low bun, and once I start twisting my hair and pulling up these underneath layers, I could end up with like streaks of black going throughout my hairstyle, which I definitely don't want. So like I said, we're gonna lift the color in the back to like match the top a little bit better. Which, by the way, speaking of my wedding hairstyle, if you guys missed it, the last like main channel video, formal video, sit down video, whatever you want to call it, even though I wasn't sitting, that video is a help me pick my hairstyle for Michelle's wedding. I showed you guys tutorials for 3 different low updo hairstyles, low bun variations, and I asked you guys to vote in the comments for which one you guys like. Actually, you know what, I just realized, scratch that, you guys can't vote on that. I mean, go check it out if you guys missed that video. If you guys just want some tutorials on how to do some fancy low buns in case, you know, you have an upcoming wedding as a guest or as a bridesmaid that you want to do a nice hairstyle for, or just like any type of event that you want to do a nice hairstyle for, those are really easy, really quick, but very, very pretty low bun updo wedding worthy hairstyles. So if you want just the tutorials on those, definitely check out that video. But I think the day that this video goes up is actually the day of Michelle's wedding, so you guys can't vote on the hairstyle anyways. I mean, you could if you get to it really early in the morning, but yeah, no voting on it. I will have already picked one. But anyways, I just pulled up here to the hair salon. One last look at how terrible my hair is, and then let's get in there and get this all fixed. So it's actually the next day after I got my hair done. Sorry, I kind of fell off. If you guys want to know why, I had like a hell of a day and had some issues with my car. You guys can check out the vlog from that day. But anyways, here's the official reveal on the hair and what we touched up. So basically what she does every time is we do chunky, thick highlights through the front so that I'm like just super blonde, and we make sure to go underneath too so that if I pull my hair back and stuff, you're still seeing a lot of blonde. We also brought up all of the blonde highlights in here and brought up all of the blonde highlights underneath and through the middle. Typically what we do is she just touches everything from here up, and we just kind of let the back grow out until we get to this point where it does need to be touched up, especially if I'm going to do an updo like I'm doing for Michelle's wedding. We definitely want to make sure that's not too dark through the back here. So yeah, lightened that up, and then after she highlighted everything, we just toned it all. Then she did a bleach wash through my ends to just kind of re-brighten them. But that is the color touch up on my hair. All right, friends, so it is part 2 of this bridesmaid glow up, getting my nails done. This is what they look like like before, I have an old like brown French tip on. This nail I'm very, very nervous about. It is damaged. I got caught on something and it got yanked on, and I can't tell if it's just the dip that broke or if it's the actual nail underneath. I feel like it's definitely the nail underneath actually, because it was actually a bloody mess when it happened, so there's no way that the nail underneath isn't broken. Today's the first day that's not hurting, so that actually worked out. That it's the first day I'm not feeling any pain and I'm getting them done, because if I had had my appointment any sooner, I probably would have had her just skip this nail. But actually this is pretty much what I'm aiming for my nails to look like today. I mean, obviously with it filled, but I just want to get a nice nude. I want to keep the shape, but we are going to shorten it. I would love to get like this color all over, but it is a gel polish and I do get dip, and I don't want to do gel over dip because, so you guys can see that I did gel over dip to do these French tips. It peels right off, so I don't want to do that for her wedding. So I'm just gonna have to find a dip color close enough to the nude that I'm looking for. And then yeah, for this one, I don't know, we're gonna see what's gonna happen with this. Typically whenever I've broken a nail and it, like the actual nail is damaged underneath, if it's cracked or anything like that, she will just kind of like glue it down and then put a tip on it, and then she'll go thicker on the dip on that nail, and that'll help to kind of like encase the crack and reinforce it so that's stronger, so that won't break again, and then the nail can just like heal underneath there, being held together by the glue and the dip. That's probably what we're gonna do today. Like I said, luckily I'm not in pain anymore. It was like literally, even if like this like finger touched something, I was in pain, but luckily I'm not in pain anymore. It just feels weird when the nail moves. It almost feels like a loose tooth but on my finger, which is so weird. So again, this is the before, and let's go get our wedding nails put on. And we are done. Wedding nails are complete. I wanted to go with something a little bit pinky nude, and we hit the nail on the head. I love my nails, they look so good. I kept the same shape, I just had her trim them a little bit. I didn't go as short as I typically go when I trim them, just because I still want them to feel and look a little bit long for the wedding. But like I said, I did keep the shape. What I go for is like a rounded off almond, so it's like an oval almond, kind of like in between there, nothing like too pointy, little bit softened, but not actually like fully oval. So as far as this nail goes though, I mean, I don't think you guys can see in the camera, but in real life you can tell that it's got a thicker dip on it, because these nails are just like a tiny bit sheer, just enough that you can kind of see light coming through on the tips. This one is like solidly opaque because there's extra layers on it. Most of the time when I have a nail injury that I need to go in and have her fix, it usually ends up being a lot less severe than what I think it is, because usually I can't see it since I have dip over top. All I can do is feel it, and it feels worse than it really is, especially when you're not able to like visually see what's happening. So most of the time when she takes the dip off, I'm like, oh, the nail's actually pretty okay, or it has a small crack, we'll just glue that. This one is bad. Like, this is really bad. It is literally cracked in half about like right here. Sorry you guys, I'm having a hard time because I'm trying to get it to focus, but it's literally cracked in half, like on the skin, on the nail bed. So the top half and the bottom half are not connected, but they are still attached to the nail bed. So it's not like we could just like cut the top half off and then put a tip on it. So I'll put a picture on the screen, but basically the whole middle section is like all white because it's legitimately completely glued together. We put so much glue down to hold it together. Like I said, we did extra dip, and then I was asking her whether or not I should even bother putting a tip on, and she said to do it just because if I hit my nail or anything, the tip is going to absorb some of that and also help to make sure the area that's glued together doesn't move around too much. So we put a tip on, did all the things. This morning it wasn't sore, but now it is sore just because we were messing with it and, you know, gluing it together and trying to lay down layers to protect it and stuff, and just like buffing it and everything. So it's definitely a little bit sore now, but it should be fine. She did say though, I need to remove this in like 2 to 3 weeks. Typically I'm one who waits like a month, but she said this time I've got to remove it in 2 to 3 weeks because we just have to be careful of fungus. The nail bed is technically open, even though the nail's glued together on top of it. There's still open areas, so we're gonna want to remove all of this and just like kind of re-sanitize the area. Then we can redo the dip on top until the top half of the nail that's broken grows out enough to fall off. So that's where we're at with that. And it's not a clean break, which is like, I think why it's so painful. So basically, like if this is the nail, it's not broken in half straight up and down, it's broken at an angle. So like through the layers of the nail, it's like cut at a diagonal. So yeah, it's just like a hot mess underneath there. But I'm glad we were able to do the nails, get it to match the other one, so that looks good for the wedding, but also do this so that the nail can be held together and grow out and heal underneath. That part of my bridesmaid beauty prep is done and complete. Okay guys, it is time for my bridesmaid makeup trial run. I'm gonna be going step by step through the process of everything that I do for photo worthy makeup. Now Michelle did give us guidelines. She did want us to keep it on the more natural side, so she sent us some inspo pictures. She just doesn't want anything too heavy or smoky, so I am going to keep the coloring lighter and more neutral, but I do want to make sure that I do enough to define all of my features, because when you're dealing with makeup for photography, I'm sure you guys know, if you've ever shot stuff for an event, for like school pictures, professional pictures, family portraits, or if you've been in a wedding and shot photos for a wedding, you know that the camera can easily wash out your makeup. So I definitely want to make sure that I'm doing enough that my features will still be defined with the photography, but not so much that it looks too heavy. I did go to Sephora and pick up a few things for this makeup look. At the time that this video is going up, the Sephora VIB sale is going on, or the holiday savings event, whatever they call it. So if you guys want some recommendations, these are the things that I picked up. I just got 5 items. I had everything else that I need to be able to do the makeup looks, but the first item, and these lashes may have been a bit more on the bold side, but since my eyeshadow is not going to be too heavy or anything, I'm okay with the lashes being a little bit more bold. This is House of Lashes and Sephora. These are the Marigold. They are a little bit spiky. I thought that they were going to be wispier, but with my eyes being like so small and stuff, and me not really having good lashes naturally, this should amp them up enough to look really good on camera. And if you guys keep up on my vlogs, you guys did already see all of this, so I'm gonna go through these really fast because you guys are gonna see me actually apply them. But the next item that I got was from Rare Beauty. This is the Kind Words lip liner in the color Gifted. It's like a deep brown color, a little bit more on the plum side. When it comes to my lips, I do want to give them a little bit of color because my lips tend to wash out on camera. Then I also got the Dior Forever 24-hour foundation. I wanted something long lasting, something mattifying, and this is also transfer proof, which is going to help a lot. I got mine in the color 4.5 warm. I originally got 5 neutral, but it was way too dark, and I went in and I swatched, and 4.5 warm was the color that like seemed to work the best. I also got a small thing of the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. This one is the Smooth and Blurring Primer, just to kind of like help keep my makeup on, help keep me more matte. And then finally, I got the Charlotte Tilbury Super Nudes. I got a lipstick from this collection. I got it in the color Super Fabulous. This one is a little bit more, again, on the plummy side, a little bit deeper than my natural lip color, but not anything super dramatic. Okay, so I have my regular skincare routine applied. I've got my moisturizer, my sunscreen, and then my brightening eye cream. It's important to make sure that if you're gonna do a trial run, you do it with your skincare underneath to make sure none of the products are reacting weird with each other. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump in here. So first thing we're gonna do is prime. I'm actually gonna use a mix of primers. I'm just using the Smashbox one in the middle of my face to smooth and blur everything, just to get and kind of fill in any texture and stuff that needs to be filled in. Sorry guys, I did a little quick wardrobe change with my shirt. Also let the primer sink in, but I had to keep yanking the other shirt down, so just change so that it's easier. Next up for this primer cocktail, I'm going in with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. If you want to use the e.l.f. dupe, you definitely can. I haven't used that one yet. I do want to try it to see how it compares to this, but this is just a long-lasting primer just to kind of help the makeup last throughout the day, especially if you are in a wedding that's going to go for hours and stuff. I personally recommend using one of these type of primers to make the look last as long as possible. So I'm just going to apply it, and I'm going to let it sit on my skin for just like a minute, let it absorb, and also of course like get tacky because we want it to be tacky for this. Then to help with mattifying and also making the base look a lot smoother and, you guys guessed it, last longer, I'm actually going to go in with some translucent powder. This one is the Airspun Loose Face Powder. I love this. I just got this, like, I think it was a couple months ago. and I'm obsessed with it. I'd always wanted it, and I don't know what took me so long to finally purchase it, but I love it. It's like so inexpensive and it's so good. I don't get any flashback or anything with this. So if you're looking for an inexpensive loose translucent powder, this is a great one. So for my brows, they need to be relaminated, so hopefully these won't be too stubborn, but I'm gonna go in with the Got2b brow gel, and step one is just brush them pretty much straight up. Besides, I'm gonna go at an angle, but the front and stuff, I'm gonna brush it straight up and let it sit for a few seconds to a minute. I know they look really spiky right now. We're gonna shape them in a little bit. Right now, it's just about getting the brows to stand up and stay. And I do this step before I put on a base, just because of this particular product. This is absolutely hands down the best brow product I've ever used to get my brows to stand up. But if you are working with a different brow product, you can probably do this later after you put on your base. This one, just if there's any of this product on your face, your foundation and your base is gonna stick to it and clump on your face. So you definitely want to do this first so that you can wipe it off and stuff. But now that everything is standing up, I'm just gonna brush lightly over the tops to give it a shape that I like. Brow shape is done. Just making sure to take all the product off of that. So now we're gonna go in with foundation. Taking the Dior foundation. This is also me testing it, by the way. I'm gonna wear this makeup look for a few hours. Make sure that this foundation continues to wear nicely. Everything else sits on top of it really well, that kind of stuff. Perfect. I know it looks deep, but my body color is much deeper than my face because I don't tan my face. Dark it up into the ears. Also, for me personally, when it comes to makeup for photography, I prefer for my base to be a little bit on the darker side. Oh, that looks really dark in camera. It matches much better in person, I promise. I think the camera's just like really picking up the pigment. But yeah, I like to go a little bit deeper because I do not want to look washed out on camera. And the camera is more likely to wash you out than make you look deeper. So if I'm in between colors, I usually opt to go a little bit deeper. We're gonna drag it all the way down. And I know it looks pretty dark, but we're gonna go in with a lighter concealer, all of that stuff, and I promise it'll all balance out and look really, really good. Base is done. I like it. It looks really nice. For concealer, tried and true, Tarte Shape Tape. This is the best one for me personally. It doesn't crease, it doesn't fade. It wears really well on me throughout the day, so I always use that one. Then I'm gonna go in with the Kosas Airbrow. We're gonna finish off the brows. I'm just gonna kind of go over. This also adds another layer of hold, and I can kind of like fix the shape if I need to, if anything's fallen or gone in a direction I don't like. Now I'm letting the concealer kind of dry because then it'll give better coverage. So that's why I jumped to my brows after dotting on concealer. Then finally, for the brows, I'm going in with the NYX Professional. This is their brow pen, which leaks a lot, so I'm just gonna make sure it's not going crazy, and I'm just gonna fill in some fine hairs in any areas that I think feel sparse. For me, that's usually in the front of the brow, sometimes a little bit in the arch. Those are just my sparse areas, but I didn't do too much. I literally like did a couple strokes here and there, and it makes such a difference. This is a step that I normally don't take for my everyday makeup, but since this is wedding makeup, I want to look nice on camera. Make sure everything is deep enough to be defined and show. We're done with brows now. We don't have to touch them again. I'm gonna blend out this concealer. Get a little bit on the eye, through the nose, the chin, on the forehead. If you want to contour your nose, I would do that right after blending and setting concealer. I personally don't contour my nose, so and just know that like that's a step I personally don't do, but if you do it, I'd definitely include it right there. But I'm just setting the concealer with the powder, just using that same one. And keep in mind that I am on the matte side, so I do a lot to mattify me, or else my face will like literally just eat makeup throughout the day. If you are not oily, you probably don't have to do this much. And I'm gonna go in with the Juvia's Place foundation stick. I know this thing is busted up. This is in the color Namibia. I'm just gonna take a little bit on my hand here, taking my contour brush. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of product at a time I don't want to go overly contoured, but I definitely do want to be defined enough, again, for the camera. So I'm just going in the hollow of my cheek here, following that line. The trick here is just like layering, in my opinion, because you can always add more, but it's gonna take more work to blend out. So we're working smarter, not harder. Get a little bit more on my hand here. And the reason why I apply it to my hand first is A, I want to control how much product I'm picking up, and B, the warmth of my hand will kind of like soften up and warm up the product so that it's gonna be a lot easier to blend. And then going in on the chin, try to give myself that chiseled jawline, and then blend it back into the neck. I'm gonna go in a little bit more on the cheeks. I'm just kind of touching up after I've applied all the contour to see where I might want to go a little bit deeper and stuff. I don't want to do this before I've applied everything because like I want to see everything all together. So now I'm going to go in with my face powder. This is the Fenty Beauty face powder. I use the shade 350. It's a perfect match for me. It's so good. So I apply powder personally after my contour because then I feel like it helps to blend it in a little bit more, make it feel a little bit more natural. And then if you went a little bit heavy on the contour, this is really nice to just kind of soften it. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of bronzer. I'm not gonna go too heavy on this, just kind of like warm up some areas. And again, this will kind of help blend that contour in so it doesn't look completely unnatural or anything like that. I'm going back into the powder. I'm gonna use this for two purposes. The first one is I'm gonna clean up the contour here so we get that really nice contour line. We're gonna leave that on for a little bit. And I don't wanna necessarily bake the under eyes and stuff. I don't wanna like start looking too cakey, so that's why I'm not doing that. I only use this for like defining stuff. But the next thing that I'm gonna actually use this for is to help guide my eye shape. So taking, actually, you know, I'm not gonna use that. That's a disaster waiting to happen. I'm gonna take a flat brush, pick up a generous amount of product, tap it off just a little bit, and then following my eyeline, just gonna stamp it just like that. I can adjust it if I need to, but whew, I think I want to go a little bit higher actually. So come in and stamp more at an angle. So this kind of works in the same way as like when you use tape. It's softer though. I mean, you're not gonna get as harsh of a line, but it's gonna help to kind of contain the eyeshadow where you want to get. So when it comes to the eyes, I really am gonna use Michelle's photos as a guide. So I personally really like this one. I'll put a better picture of it on the screen. It's got a little bit of smokiness down at the lash line, but otherwise it's just like warm and natural. So I'm gonna be using the Natasha Denona bronze palette, laying down a base first with Beach, just all over the lid. Then taking a smaller brush, I'm going into Ridge, and I'm gonna apply that in the crease and wing it out. But with everything, I'm taking my time to really blend everything and make sure that everything looks nice and seamless. And bring it in to the corners too. I'm not following the photo exactly. I'm taking inspo from it. So just also keep that in mind. Then next, taking an even smaller crease brush, I'm going into Suntan, tap off any excess. I'm gonna do the same thing, but keep it a little bit tighter in the crease, deposit most of it in the corner, wing it out, then drag it in. I'm gonna pop out of this palette for a second. Going into the Sephora I Love palette. I'm gonna take, this does not have a name, but I'm gonna take this color right here, this like light shimmer. I'm not gonna use my finger because I don't want it to be too intense. I'm just gonna go in with like a fluffy flat brush, pick that up, just lightly tap it on my lid. And still using this palette, I'm gonna take a detail brush and going into the dark brown color here. I'm gonna use it to kind of smoke out the lash line, create a wing, continue smoking. And this is also what's so great about using the powder, is it'll catch any fallout and then I can wipe that all off later. But that's it with just the brown. I'm actually gonna make this a little bit bigger because we're also going to use the black. If you are fairer, you have lighter eyes, I would say you just need to do this part with the brown. But since I have darker features, I am going to go over it with black. Or, you know, if you just want to do black, you can, but if you're trying to keep it softer and you have lighter features, this alone should be fine. So that's just the brown, and then going into the black now, I'm gonna keep this a lot tighter to the lash line. I'm gonna even like blend into the lash line. Okay, so there's the difference with the black. Then we're gonna work on blending those together. I'm just taking a clean, flat definer brush, make sure that it is clean. You're not trying to deposit any more color, you're just blending the black and the brown together. Especially when working with black shadow, make sure you are tapping off the excess. You don't want any of it to fall on your face. So shadow on the top is done. Okay folks, sorry, the camera overheated, but all I did was wipe off the powder on the eyes, and then while I'm at it, I can go ahead and wipe off this powder. Perfect. Gives that clean, chiseled contour line. Then taking the powder brush for my all over face powder. I didn't pick up any product, it's just whatever's on here. I'm gonna go over where that white was, just to make sure, deposit a little bit of pigment on top of that. Definitely don't want to have to deal with any like flashback. Now for the lower lash line, taking another detail brush and go into the brown on the I Love palette, and I'm just gonna smoke the lower lash line just a little bit, just enough so that it's defined and it also balances out with the top. Then going into the Natasha Denona palette, taking a fluffy brush, I'm gonna go into Beach and blend and diffuse out that lower lash line. So going in for liner, I'm just gonna tight line my eyes. Actually, this is the only liner that I'm using now that I'm thinking about it, because we already have a wing. And then per Michelle's request, I don't wanna go too heavy, so I'm not gonna do actual liquid liner, because I also am gonna be doing lashes, which is already going to take up a lot of real estate on my face. Speaking of, I'm gonna go ahead and trim these. These are behemoths. I did also purchase a new lash glue I can get from Sephora. I got it from Revolve, and I'm waiting for the package. So I'm just gonna use my old lash glue, but I will have a cleaner one come wedding time. So these are definitely gonna be way too big for my face, so we are gonna trim them. If you're newer to this, measure on your face, see where you want it to sit, and then cut it. I wear false lashes so much. I have a pretty good eye for what's gonna fit. Okay, then I'm gonna apply not a generous layer of glue, but definitely enough that there's glue on here. And I'm gonna let these sit for a minute to 90 seconds. That is so key in this. You want the glue to be tacky. You do not want it to be wet. So let the glue dry just for a little bit. Then applying some mascara to the top and bottom lashes. I'm using the L'Oreal Telescopic Waterproof because it is a wedding day and I cry at anything having to do with weddings. Then for blush, I'm going to be using the Rare Beauty liquid blush in the color Love. This is just really long lasting. It's really pigmented. I'm just going to start out with one dot each side. And blush is like the first thing to come off on me. So I'm going in with my strongest and most long-lasting blush. Put a little bit on the nose, a little bit on the forehead, just leftovers. I'm gonna do one more layer of this because I'm thinking in terms of getting ready, then still needing to do photos and stuff, which is gonna take a little while. I definitely wanna make sure that my blush is gonna hold up. And then let's go ahead and spray down the look. Let it dry, and then while it's drying, I'm gonna apply my highlighter. I'm gonna be using the Jaclyn Cosmetics Accent Light Highlighter right on top of that damp setting spray. Go in with your sponge and blend it in so that it doesn't look like it's sitting on top. I'm gonna push it into the skin. I think lashes should be good by now. So taking my lash tweezers. If you have a hard time applying lashes, get the tweezers. They help so much. So for the angle here, I'm gonna look down into my mirror and I'm gonna come in from the top. That way the lashes will sit nice and natural on top of your real lashes. I personally like to place the outside first and then the inside and then press them together. Don't get your eyelid skin. I did that to Jill once, I felt so bad. Okay, they're not as heavy as I thought that they were gonna be, so that's fine. The band is a little bit heavy though, so you're gonna have to go in with some black shadow. Again, coming in, you guys can probably see the side better. I'm gonna Place the outside first, then the middle, then finally the inner corner. Pressing them into my real lashes. I'm gonna let these dry here just like for a second. While those dry, I'm gonna go into the black liner, and you guys see how like you can see the edges here. I'm gonna apply some black liner to blend that band into my lash line, just so that it doesn't look so disconnected. That looks so much better. Okay, now that the lashes are dried on, I'm gonna push them up and kind of fluff them so that they don't drag downwards, they open up my eyes. Then going in with the Jaclyn highlighter, I'm gonna highlight the inner corners, brow bone, then eyes are set. Oh, that's gonna look so good on camera. All right, finally the lips. Oh shoot, I should have put on a lip mask while I was doing my makeup. Normally I put on a lip balm or a lip mask while I'm doing my makeup so that my lips get nice and soft. I will do that the day of. I forgot to do it today, but taking the Rare Beauty liner, just gonna define the lips, bring the color in towards the middle, not all the way. Top, that's the lip liner. Then going in with the lipstick, I'm gonna apply this to more towards the center of the lip. All right, and that is my trial run for my makeup for the wedding. I might do some adjustments. I'm honestly not 100% sold on the lashes. I might want to go with something a little bit softer, although the longer I look at it on camera, the more I really like it. So I may leave it. Then I may add a nude here in the center. Maybe I'll just go ahead and do that right. Just like a slightly lighter color in the very, very center. Yeah, perfect. Okay, that's perfect. So this is it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the lashes. I'm gonna keep it all. I like the way that it turned out. But anyways, that is the makeup trial run. That is what I plan on doing for my makeup for the wedding. Sorry if there's like weird lighting, coloring and stuff. I don't know what's wrong with my camera, but hopefully you guys got the gist of it. Last phase of my bridal beauty prep is a two-parter, well, three-parter actually. It's skincare, nails, and teeth. Although teeth I've been doing, but I'll show you guys what I've been doing all week. But let's start with skincare. So I'm gonna be doing a couple of different masks, but before I do that, I am gonna dermaplane. I've been saving this till just like a couple days before the wedding. That's where we're at right now. Tomorrow is the rehearsal. We are heading up to Big Bear. I've been saving dermaplaning so that it's like nice and fresh. And bonus to this is my makeup, which we did in that last phase, is gonna go on even smoother after doing this. Getting rid of all that peach fuzz and exfoliating. I'm also using this time to kind of shape the tops of my brows because we are gonna work on brows as well, but after skincare. But I love to dermaplane before I do a face mask. Truthfully, I already did this face mask a couple days ago. This is the final application of it. If I have like a big event, I like to do it like 4 or 5 days out and then 2 days out, because it's the type of mask that'll just pull the impurities out of your face. So you might end up with some zits and stuff. So I don't like to do it right before an event. I like to give it some time. But I love to dermaplane before doing these kinds of masks because it helps the skin absorb it so much better. So nice and smooth, hairs removed. So the mask that I'm gonna use is the Osserai Red Australian Clay Mask. I'm gonna apply it with my spatula since I just dermaplaned. Some of the skin could be open, so I just want to make sure I'm not dragging bacteria onto my skin. A little bit goes a long way. Mask is on. I'm gonna let it sit for 20 minutes. Then we're gonna wash it off, and I'm actually gonna follow it up with a second mask to give my skin a really nice glow. For the second mask, I'm gonna be using the Summer Fridays. This is the R&R mask. This one, literally, like I said, it just gives my skin the most beautiful glow without making me like greasy or shiny, whereas this one just kind of cleanses the skin. It makes everything smoother, and it also makes me less oily / greasy. So kind of take it away and then give myself like the right amount of glow with the R&R mask. It's been about 20 minutes. Mask is nice and dry, so let's rinse this off. So just a fair heads up with that mask, it will look like a murder scene when you wash it off. Makes the water really red, so be ready with something to wipe your counters down. Then mask number 2, the R&R mask. Leaving this one on for, I think it's 15 to 20 minutes as well. So I washed the mask off. Sorry, I forgot to film it, but I'm all done with skincare. Now moving on to brows. If you guys have been around, you've seen me do this a million times. So I'm not gonna go in depth into detail on how I laminate my brows, but I highly recommend this kit. It comes with a brow glue, which really helps if you've got stubborn brow hairs to get them to truly sit up, because other brow kits that I've used without the glue, my brows fall like almost immediately. But with this one, with the glue, making them stay up throughout the process, it works so good. I mean, it honestly looks like a professional brow lamination job. So you need that, couple paper towels, and then just a little bit of plastic wrap. So I'm missing two things in this kit, and it's the cleanser and like the nourishing oil. Those two are not essential to the process. I mean, the nourishing oil is definitely great for afterwards. I have like some jojoba oil over here that I can just like rub on afterwards, so not necessary. But these things, these three things are necessary. This is the glue that I was talking about, and then this is step one. Yeah, this is step one, lift, and then step two, fixation. It actually looks like I need a new kit. Hopefully this will work, because this looks dried out. That is making me very nervous, but we're still gonna try. I've also got applicators and stuff for this. So we're just gonna kind of speed through this, and I'm also gonna go ahead and whiten my teeth. I've got the Crest white strips. I've been doing this pretty much like every day for like the past 5 days or so, just to whiten my smile a little bit for the wedding day. So pop these on, and then I just do the lamination according to the instructions. I'm going to start with cleansing my brows. I'm just going to use this. I'm going to cleanse the area really quick, and then I'm going to glue my brows down, go in with the lift for 7 minutes, and then wipe that all off and put in the fixation for another 7 minutes, and then you're all done. But okay, I'm just gonna finish popping these on because I can't really talk well with both ends. So I almost forgot really quick before we dive in, I am gonna pluck my brows and just shape them a little bit. Grand reveal. I thought that the fixation was fine and that it was just the first one that was thick and expired. Not the case. Both are thick, both were expired. So I don't know how long this lamination is gonna last. Sorry, I have all this, I filled this stuff in, but it seemed to get everything to hold up well. I did throw the kit away because I'm not using that again. It was probably questionable that I used it today, but there was nothing I could do about it. But there's the brows standing up really nicely. Like I said, I have some jojoba oil. Do a little bit of jojoba oil on the brows, since they just went through such a big chemical process. I want to coat them so that they don't get too dried out. Hopefully my brows don't fall out from using an expired lamination kit. Pray for me. So I'm just gonna finish up my skincare here, just my regular nighttime skincare routine. I'm careful not to touch the brows with any of the wet product because my brows cannot get wet anymore. All right, you guys, well that was gonna be it for this bridesmaid glow up slash beauty prep. I realized I probably should have ended on a more aesthetic note. Probably with the makeup trial run would have been the best course of action, but I didn't want to do that too close to the wedding in case I needed to adjust. So we ended on the skincare and brows, which I know doesn't look too much like a glow up, but I promise it is part of it. But anyways, thank you guys again so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe so that you can keep up on all the wedding content. I think the day that this goes up is actually the day of the wedding, so also make sure to follow me on Instagram so you guys can follow along on stories. I'll probably post a couple throughout the day, but I mean, mainly going to be just focused on enjoying and celebrating. And of course, don't forget to like this video and leave me a comment down below. But anyways, I love you guys. I gotta get going because we're leaving for Big Bear bright and early in the morning tomorrow. So I'll see you guys very soon again in my wedding prep vlog. Bye.